Good afternoon, people. Welcome back to another video where I'm bringing you that cryptocurrency news for December 23rd, 2021. It is a rainy day here in Southern California, and I personally love it because we don't get of it too much. But in the news today, Bitcoin finally hit $50,000 again. Woo! Way to go, Bitcoin. And a bunch of other coins are jumping. Ethereum's back above 4,000. Binance is at 548. Even Litecoin was shooting up a little bit. Where were you? Yep, we're now at 163. So yeah, market is looking good right now. But in today's video, I want to go over Web 3.0 because that wasn't a tweet from this morning of like, what is it? The next step of the internet. So there was a lot of articles today about it. So let's just go right on into it. So in our first article of the day, what is Web3 and why is everyone talking about it? Web3 represents the next generation of the internet, one that focuses on shifting power from big tech companies to individual users. Web3, also known as Web3 or Web 3.0, is a term you may have heard thrown around a lot lately. It simply refers to the next iteration of the internet that promotes decentralized protocols and aims to reduce dependency on large tech companies like YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon. But what is it and why is it on everyone's minds? Well, what is Web3? To understand Web3, it makes sense to understand what came before. The first version of the internet, known as Web 1, arrived around late 1990s and comprised of a collection of links and homepages. Websites weren't particularly interactive. You couldn't do much apart from read things in public and publish basic content for others to read. Brian Brooks, the CEO of the Bitfury, put it smartly in the speech to US Congress in December 2021. If people remember their original AOL account, it was an ability to look into a curated, walled garden at a set of content that was not interactive, but was presented to you on AOL, the way that Time magazine used to show you the articles they wanted you to see inside of their magazine, just like you could see it on a screen. Web 2 came next. Some people call this the read/write version of the internet, in reference to a computer code that lets you both open and edit files rather than just view them. This version of the internet allowed people to not only consume content, but to create their own and publish it on blogs like Tumblr, internet forums, and marketplaces like Craigslist. Later, the emergence of social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, took content sharing to a new heights. But after a while, the general public became cognizant about the way their personal data was being harvested by tech giants and used to create tailored advertisements and marketing campaigns. Facebook in particular has had the spotlight shown in it innumerable times for breaching data privacy laws and was hit with a $5 billion fine in 2019, the largest penalty ever issued by the Federal Trade Commission. Although Web 2 has brought the world amazing free services, a lot of people have grown tired of the new walled gardens. These huge tech companies have created and want to have more control over their data and content. This is where Web3 comes in. Web3 can be understood as the read/write/own phase of the internet. Rather than just using free tech platforms in exchange for our data, users can participate in the governance and operations of the protocols themselves. This means people can become participants and shareholders, not just customers or products. In Web3, these shares are called tokens or cryptocurrencies, and they represent ownership of decentralized networks known as blockchains. If you hold enough of these tokens, you have a say over the network. Holders of the governance tokens can spend their assets to vote on the future of, say, a decentralized lending protocol. Again, here Brooks, the real message here is that what happens on the decentralized internet is decided by the investors versus what happens on the main internet is decided by Twitter, Facebook, Google, and a small number of other companies. Now, what can you do on Web3? Web3 makes the proliferations of cooperations, governance structures for once centralized products possible. Anything at all can be tokenized, whether it's a meme, a piece of art, a person's social media output, or tickets to Gary Vee's conference. A greater example of the paradigm shift is in the gaming industry. Gamers grumbles endless about the bugs that developers leave in their favorite video games, or how the latest patch has upset their balance of their favorite weapon. With Web3, gamers can invest in the game itself and vote on how things should be run. Large Web2 companies like Meta and Ubisoft are creating virtual worlds powered in part by Web3. Non-fungible tokens will also play a huge role in reshaping the gaming industry by allowing players to become the immutable owners of the items they accrue. Criticisms of Web3. The main criticism of Web3 technology is that it falls short of ideals. Ownership of blockchain networks is not equally distributed, but concentrated in the hands of early adopters and venture capitalists. A public spat recently erupted on Twitter between Block Inc. CEO Jack Dorsey and a various ventures capitalists over Web3, bringing this debate to the forefront. At the heart of the critiques is the idea of decentralized theater, where blockchain projects are decentralized in name but not in substance. Private blockchains, VC-backed investments, or decentralized finance protocols, where just a few people hold the keys to hundreds of millions of dollars, are examples of decentralized theater. And despite the supposedly leaderless community of protocols, there are clear figureheads. Isabella Kaminska, the outgoing editor of the FT blog, Alphaville, pointed to the huge amount of power that Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, continues to have over the network, even though he's no longer involved in its development. Vitalik is a funny and contradictory phenomenon. In his own right, he operates as the spiritual leader of the de facto headless system, while holding incredible sway and influence over the headless system he creates and oversees, Kaminska told the Crypto Syllabus. Things aren't much better within decentralized finance protocols. They're rife with the voter absentees, often rely on centralized infrastructure, and the barrier to entry in creating them is still high. Given that creating blockchains seems to be arcane, magic reserved for only the most highly specialized engineers, but despite its problems, Web3 has a lot of potential. Where it's too idealistic to put into practice, will be something that everyday users will discover over the next decade. So yeah, people are going to be discovering this over the next decade. Like right now, like it's still the beginning process of it all, but it's literally the next internet. Because instead of just reading and writing, now we have the read, write, and own. That own comes from blockchain technology, which is all about ownership. And in our next article about Web 3.0, how this article covered Jack Dorsey's big what if, here's the article about that. What's up with Jack? Jack Dorsey's controversial views about venture capital and Web 3.0 triggered a fury of responses on Twitter this week. When you're no longer at the helm of a publicly traded company, you have more leeway to express controversial views. The former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey took to social media this week to express his discontent over venture capital's role in Web 3.0. Some of his Twitter followers agreed with his views, others disagreed, and some even blocked him entirely. Below is the concise version of the latest Crypto Biz newsletter, which is sent to your inbox every Thursday for a comprehensive breakdown of business developments over the last week. Register for the full newsletter below if you would like. But here it is. You don't own Web 3.0, says Dorsey. Dorsey's grip with Web 3.0, a broad term that refers to a more decentralized and interconnected version of the internet, stems from those who control a commanding stake in these emerging protocols. By owning a large stake in Web 3.0, startups, venture capital funds, and limited partners can pressure the founders to comply with centralized regulations that go against the ethos of decentralization. Tesla CEO Elon Musk joined Dorsey on Twitter in mocking Web 3.0 projects. Elon tweeted, "Has anyone even seen Web 3? I can't find it." Oh, Elon, so funny. But 776 and Polygon launched 200 million fund. They're a group a part of it. SBI Group launches crypto asset fund in Japan. Binance Labs leads 60 million funding the multi-chain. So like that's why he Dorsey and these guys probably just don't like it, going, oh, all these big guys have it, but they're probably just upset they don't have enough leeway into the market. So these guys are just a bunch of Bitcoin maximalists, or Elon Musk is more of a Doge. But you know he owns Bitcoin. And in the last cycle, fighting for Web 3.0 digital wallet wars, the new browser wars. The same way the browser became the window into the early internet, digital wallets are becoming the interface for decentralized internet or Web 3.0. Most people might not remember the websites once had icons that said, "This site has been optimized for Internet Explorer," but 2 decades ago, it wasn't uncommon. Just like today's battle between Web 2.0 monopolies and Web 3.0 communities, at the beginning of the early consumer internet, there was a similar battle waged over who would own the portal to it, a closed source global monopoly or an open source nonprofit, a battle for the soul of the internet. Long before Web 3.0, the browser wars defined the early internet. Netscape Navigator was the first consumer browser in the market and browser of choice for the first user of the web. For many, it was synonymous with the dawn of the internet. This is so old, so funny. Slowly but surely, however, Microsoft leveraged its monopoly position in the OS space to push its closed source alternative, Internet Explorer. It was able to outcompete Netscape and become the default choice for the user simply by packaging the browser with Windows. So here's the dominance of the browsing wars in the early internet area, starting from 1996 all the way to 2009. So this yellow gap was Internet Explorer, while Netscape was the king of it all in the very beginning. But as we see, it switched over more to Firefox or Safari, like they started taking over in 2004 when Apple really appeared. But Internet Explorer still remained dominant throughout the years. In 1998, Netscape open sourced its browser and helped create the Mozilla Foundation that supported a free software community made up of its contributors. By 2002, the Mozilla Firefox browser, based on an open source principle, launched under the initial codename Phoenix in reference to its How It Rose from the Ashes. A battle ensued for the soul of the internet. Internet Explorer was closed source. Firefox was open source. Internet Explorer was launched by a monopoly. Firefox was run by a foundation. Firefox broke Microsoft's closed source stranglehold, paving the way for Chrome, which was built on the open source Chromium project. Together with the rise of the mobile web, it threw a wrench into the Internet Explorer's gears. If it hadn't, users might still be seeing this site has been optimized for Internet Explorer when they loaded this page. Internet Explorer was also the heart of Microsoft's monopoly case, which resulted in Microsoft's 10-year reinvention of itself as a champion for open source software. And here's also the history, nice little graph. 1990, Web 1, just emails, basic reading and writing. Web 2, information, interactive information, so that was in 2000, and also social medias, MySpace, then Facebook. And then now, 2020, decentralized, private, and secure, user-centric web content. So yeah, we are in the new future. It's a new internet. Flash forward to today, Web 3.0 enabled wallets are tools that millions of users to participate in the brave new world of decentralized autonomous organizations, otherwise known as DAOs, community-driven DeFi protocols, and metaverses. They are the portal to these applications, just like the browser was to the portal of the website of the earlier internet. Soon there will be the default interface for the new internet the land will be fighting for. So yeah, you will need a wallet to be able to access the internet. So whether it be a MetaMask wallet where you just have to log in on your browser, then that's going to be how the internet works. You need this to be able to search it. We won't have the browser anymore. And the more things change, once again, have not, but yep, the article just goes on, like times are going to be changing. MetaMask is a key part right now in it, but soon other wallets will appear and be based more on the Web 3.0 idea. But yeah, so that is Web 3.0, basically. A lot of information. Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk don't like it, but it is becoming an open source and the new internet, where ownership of who owns what data gets put out there, and who gets to control their data and whatsoever. But yeah, that is Web 3.0. I look forward to the future. Hope you guys do too. As we look over a fiat leak right now to close this video up, Bitcoin's at 50,763 and still moving around crazy. This is always a great website to look at the movement of Bitcoin. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you like this video, thumbs up it, share with your friends, and subscribe. I appreciate it, and it helps with the algorithm. So guys, until next time, the Crypto Sherpa is out.